saw Black Panther, and the first thing I did when I got in that theater was check to see where the nearest exit was.
Right.
That's not the American way. And so I think that we, whether you're Republican or Democrat, we can have a conversation about how we can make sure that people who have mental issues aren't getting their hands on high-powered weapons.
Now, before we get to the next... go ahead.
Yeah, but there's such an emphasis on the tools of these mass killers, but there's not a conversation about the killers themselves and all the evidence that we miss with these people. I mean, this is not
to get married and have kids. We can have a balance between those rights and making sure that, you know, everyone gets the chance to live an American dream.
Orange, do you have a word on this?
I think Rush is completely right. You know, if you take the guns away, they'll find knives, bombs, cars. I have made the decision, me and my family, is how can we protect ourselves when these crazy people decide to go in your movie theater? In Texas, I can carry my gun in the movie theater. When I go to college, I can carry my gun on the college campus. But what can we do as Americans to protect ourselves from these killers? Because guess what? It's not going to stop. If you take something away from them, they'll find something else because they are cold-blooded killers. How can we stop them?
Nation to take action. They are watching, perhaps closer than ever before, to what members of Congress are doing. Lawrence, do Republicans need to be careful here?
Look, I think the messaging needs to be careful. I think all sides need to be careful. But I think it's important, though, that we just don't do something just to be doing something. We have to be intentional. And I don't want to take the rights of legal gun owners away by just because we are in this emotional state right now. Everybody is feeling the pain of these kids. Gun owners, the NRA, everyone is feeling this pain.
The NRA is
but we
not
got to be
feeling the pain of
responsible.
this.
They are feeling that pain, Michael. And I think it's insulting to say that the NRA is not
be
feeling
insulted,
the
but,
pain. There are people, there are NRA members that kids were affected as well, too. That feel the pain of this country as well.
There are NRA members who
What do you mean it's different?
The NRA is a corporation who has millions of dollars being funneled through it. I don't feel bad for the NRA at all. I think we need to get money out of politics completely. Now, the people who are members of the NRA, I have friends and family that are members of the NRA, and I think that they do feel bad about this. But I think the NRA is a separate group which we need to look at and consider how they're funded.
They advocate for their members, Michael, and it's this type of rhetoric that you're spewing right now on national TV. It's why we won't get change when it comes to this issue. It's because immediately Democrats attack the NRA
gentlemen,
instead
thank
of
you
the killer.
very much. We will continue this, no doubt. Thank you, Lawrence Jones and Michael Starr Hopkins.
Thanks.
Bill.
Good debate there. 22 minutes now before the hour. Pretty good debate here, too. 2018 NASCAR season's underway. Cool stuff there. First NASCAR event for me.
First.
I want to tell you, Lisa, it was amazing.
It was. I've never been.
The speed and the power and the precision. I mean, I get it after being down there in Daytona. It was really
pretty exciting. Very cool.
Yes, indeed. Check it out.
Nice.
Okay. They do this stuff in Colorado too, you know.
They do?
Yeah, somewhere.
Beckham. Perfect dynamics, outstanding performance all year round. Jaguar all-wheel drive.
People would stare. Psoriasis does that.
It was tough getting out there on stage.
I wanted to be clear. I wanted it to last.
So I kept on fighting.
I found something that worked and keeps on working.
Now, they see me.
See me.
See if Cosentyx could make a difference for you. Cosentyx is proven to help people with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis find clear skin that can last. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting Cosentyx, you should be checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, or if you've received a vaccine or plan to. If you have inflammatory bowel disease, tell your doctor if symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions may occur.
Never give up.
See me.
See me.
Clear skin can last.
Don't hold back. Ask your dermatologist if Cosentyx can help you find clear skin that lasts.
20 years ago, I waited hours for a mortgage and got ripped off. That's why I started LendingTree. At LendingTree, you can shop online for a loan, just like you do hotels and airline tickets. Just select what you need and answer a few questions. You'll receive up to 5 free offers to compare. Then choose the one you like best. Our average home refinance customer saves $34,000. So don't sit and wait at the bank. Make lenders come to you, wherever you are. Come see what you could save at LendingTree.com.
Are you hiring great people?
I get more talented people through the door through Indeed than any other job search that I use.
Indeed delivers 6 times more hires than any other job site. Post a job in minutes, and Indeed will help you zero in on just the right candidates. Plus, there are no upfront costs or long-term contracts.
Nothing has ever been this easy, this simple, and this effective.
Right now, start your first job posting with free premium placement. Search for greatness. Indeed, the world's #1 job site.
Everyone has a thing. That binge watch over the weekend thing. More checking in or checking out thing.
No. That triple double thing.
Watch this. Passengers calling it the cruise from hell. A series of fights gets a family of 23 kicked off a Carnival cruise ship sailing off the coast of Australia. Cell phone video showing members of the group attacking each other. At one point, you can see the ship's security team kicking passengers while they're on the ground. It's unclear what started the fights. So far, no one has been charged.
So you should have taken 23 family members with you.
That's the problem. Too much family?
2 or 3 might be.
I'm just glad everyone stayed on board.
Yeah.
That's anger. Not anger.
That is on the high seas. Okay. They won't forget it.
No.
No, they won't. There was a flurry of tweets over the weekend for the president, including this one. Great pollster John McLaughlin now has the GOP up in the generic congressional ballot. Big gain over the last 4 weeks. I guess people are loving the big tax cuts given them by the Republicans, the cuts the Dems want to take away. We need more Republicans. He said that a lot, too. Former New Hampshire Governor John Sununu, White House Chief of Staff under President George H.W. Bush. And Governor, good day to you on this President's Day. Who was your favorite president?
George Herbert Walker Bush.
Of course, you got to go with the former boss, right? Now, listen, the president's going to make a big point about these tax cuts. And I guess to the point where the economy stays good, you can probably sell that point. What do you think?
Well, look, there'll probably be 3 issues in the election. One will be the economy, because it's always the economy. Second, the Democrats are going to try and make the Dreamers the issue. And certainly the president himself will be an issue. I think the economy is going to get better, and the Republicans are going to figure out how to milk that. I think the Democrats are making a mistake on the Dreamers. The Dreamers, I think, are a symbolic issue that everybody responds to positively in a poll. But for the only people that it's personal to, and personal counts when you're deciding who you're going to vote for, are the 600,000 to 1.8 million non-voters that are Dreamers. And so the Democrats may find themselves with a great symbolic issue and nothing of substance. And so I think the election will swing on the economy and the way people perceive the need to reinforce the Trump agenda.
Okay, 2 interesting points there. We'll keep an eye on that over the next 9 months. Mitch McConnell did an interview with the New York Times. In part, he said the following. He said, the odds are that we will lose seats in the House and the Senate. History tells you that. The fired up nature of the political left tells you that. We go into this clear-eyed that this is going to be quite a challenging election. Is it any different than any other midterm, or is it more challenging than in the past, do you think, Governor?
Every election seems to be the most challenging in history. And certainly a lot of that comes because technology changes and the technology used in election for communication changes. So, yeah, this is going to be more intense because there's more personal communication through Twitter, Facebook, and the rest of social media.
Do you think the Me Too movement is a big factor here? Do you think what we're talking about next September and October is how many women turn out to vote? What do you think of that, Governor?
Well, I think the long-lasting pieces of and poster children, if you will, of the Me Too movement will remain the Weinstein crowd. And I think that may actually end up hurting the Democrats.
Hurting?
That's right. Because they'll point out that they've been hypocritical on this issue for years. And hypocrisy is something that does move voters.
Oh. Okay, we'll watch that, too. The Russia indictments are now out. I assume you watched it on Friday, had the weekend to think about it.
Couldn't avoid it.
Where do you think that announcement has taken this whole story?
I think it's just another step forward. I think it's consistent with what the Republicans have been saying. There's no substance to the collusion issue, but special prosecutors, special investigators have a tendency to move off what they start on, and I have no idea where Mueller really is taking this. So it bears watching through the process.
Why do you think it came out on Friday? As far as I can tell, the Russians who were indicted, they don't live here. I've barely seen a picture of any of them.
I have not been able to really figure out why it came out on Friday and why the Deputy Attorney General made the announcement instead of Mueller. To tell you the truth, I'm still a little bit confused on that.
So you expected Mueller to come out?
Well, I think Mueller should be talking about what Mueller's doing.
Why do you think that was not the case then?
I think Mueller, I don't know. That's why I say I can't figure out why Mueller didn't do it, and I can't figure out why Friday was the timing.
Okay, now what comes next in all this? I mean, if you had a crystal ball and you could predict it, I guess we'd all win a lot of money. But, you know, it's 14 months now.
Yeah, I think the next thing is the Inspector General's report. And I think the Republicans in the Congress are now souped up to go after folks like Clapper. I think the Obama administration keeps finding itself in quicksand here, and the Republicans have decided not to let go of this thing, and they're going to have make a strong effort to create an equivalency of their reports with whatever else is coming out.
Is the question, what did you know in 2014, or is the question, what did you choose not to do between 2014 and 16?
I think the question really is how did you connive to abuse the process from 2014 to 2016, Mr. President and Mr. Obama's White House?
So you think they are culpable?
I think there's serious culpability there. Remember, it was Obama that poo-pooed Romney when he said Russia was the most important issue. And so the Democrats put a spin on this thing starting in the 2012 election, and then felt uncomfortable in saying that the Russian issue was important, you know what, in President the 2015-16.
I apologize for interruption. President Obama has said that he did not want to go public with this or pursue it because he didn't want to look like he was tipping the scales of the election toward one candidate or the other. What do you think of that? What do you think of that explanation now?
Spin, spin, spin.
That's it?
That's it.
All right, we'll see where it goes then. Thank you, Governor. John Sununu, great to have you back on today. Enjoy your President's Day in honor of #41, okay? Thank you, Alicia.
Vice President Mike Pence weighing in on the so-called Dreamers and the heated immigration debate.
The president took a stand for the Constitution and the rule of law, but he set a timetable to March the 5th to say now Congress has to come together and work in such a way to not only solve the DACA problem, but also to keep the promises that he made to the American people.
Those comments as the clock is ticking toward that March 5th DACA deadline. Is compromise possible? And can a deal get done in time?
What does the future of the internet hold? Is it access to high-speed bandwidth for rural America? Or immediate reliable communications after a disaster? Is it video conferencing from the middle of the ocean or from the top of a mountain? At Airborne Wireless Network, our technology is leading the way to make that a reality. What does the future hold? Maybe it's connectivity for all.
Looking for a hotel that fits your budget? TripAdvisor now searches over 200 sites to find you the hotel you want at the lowest price. Grazie, Gino. Find a price that fits. TripAdvisor.
If you've been turned down for a mortgage because of credit or tax return issues, Cash Call Mortgage now has credit and income-solving mortgages with no closing costs. Just call 855-890-CASH and we'll work with you to find a solution to your mortgage issues.
The investigation, the charges, the bombshell. The Mueller indictment sent shockwaves through D.C. Now, Tucker breaks down all the fallout, and you don't want to miss it tonight.
Hi, I'm Dana Lash from The Dana Show. If you could be more heart healthy just by drinking a glass of delicious superfood, would you do it? Of course you would. There's one superfood I drink every day for healthy circulation and to make me feel great all day long. It's called Super Beets, and you can try it for yourself risk-free. Beets contain a nutrient that increases your own natural energy. It supports healthy blood pressure, too. And Super Beets gives you the benefit of 3 whole beets. I take Super Beets as my pre-workout in the morning and as a non-jittery pick-me-up in the afternoon.
Give Super Beets a try for 2 weeks. 1 week, just 1 week, and you will see a difference, I promise.
Don't wait another day to start increasing your energy.
With your first order, get another 30-day supply of Super Beets free, plus our test strips to see how Super Beets is working for you, and free shipping. Try Super Beets. You'll love it or your money back. Order your Super Beets today.
Call 1-800-495-4034 or visit buysuperbeets.com now.
Hi, I'm Joan London. Today's senior living communities have never been better. With amazing amenities like movie theaters, exercise rooms and swimming pools, public cafes, bars and bistros, even pet care services. And there's never been an easier way to get great advice. A Place for Mom is a free service that pairs you with a local advisor to help you sort through your options and find the perfect place. A Place for Mom. You know your family, we know senior living. Together we'll make the right choice.
You won't see these folks at the post office. They have businesses to run. They have passions to pursue. How do they avoid trips to the post office? Stamps.com. Mail letters. Ship packages. All the amazing services of the post office right on your computer. Get a 4-week trial plus $100 in extras, including postage and
Ness is live in our West Coast newsroom. Hey, William.
Well, Alicia, the U.S. has always been the piñata of Mexican politics, and you don't lose votes in Mexico attacking President Trump. And usually it's more talk than action, but in this election that could change. Leading the polls for the July presidential election is Manuel López Obrador. He is the Bernie Sanders of Mexican politics. He's a far-left populist who promises to make Mexico more equitable for the poor, overhaul public health, offer free university education, break up monopolies, delay NAFTA, and use the United Nations to stop President Trump's proposed border wall, which he claims is not necessary. 10 points back from him, but rising in the polls is 38-year-old Ricardo Anaya. He's a centrist candidate, a lawyer, former lawmaker, backed by the center right and left. He's a new face that vows to fight corruption, raise the minimum wage. Anaya said on Sunday, quote, Mexico will never again be treated like a doormat for the U.S. as it has been in this government. So behind Obrador by 20 points is Jose Antonio Meade. He is representing the current ruling party, which is widely considered been a disaster, perpetuating the corruption they vowed to eliminate and the violence, which is now at an all-time high. Meade held 4 cabinet-level positions in 2 different administrations. He is considered capable but boring. He does carry the torch, if you will, for the current administration, but none of the baggage of Enrique Peña Nieto, who is basically seen as being steamrolled by President Trump. So in Mexico, you have 1 6-year term. Now, Obrador is the former mayor of Mexico City. He is the most well-known. But in terms of policy and personality, he and President Trump are likely like oil and water. We will see. We've got, campaigning begins, I think, March 1st officially, and of course the election is July 1st. Back to you.
He got capable but boring in the Bernie Sanders of Mexican politics. Sounds good. Thanks, William.
So the grief and the raw emotion now replaced for a moment by rallies from students who want action. As we get news on what the president has planned for later this week. Plus, in a moment, President Trump lit up Twitter over the weekend after the indictment of 13 Russians. He argues yet again there was no collusion, and that's not what all he said.
They used the Clinton campaign. They tried to disparage her campaign.
Sure.
Next cycle, it could be a Republican. But Americans are the victims of what Russia did. Not Republicans, not Democrats. All of us are victims.
Last night took an L, but tonight I bounce back.
What's an L?
The rap singer took a loss, and now he's okay again. Right. Every week I bounce back.
Yeah, you can get a mortgage that avoids PMI, but there's no way to avoid MIP.
Hey!
This will help.
Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans makes the complex simple.
So, origination fees and...
This takes care of it. Thank you.
Understand the details and get approved in as few as 8 minutes by America's largest mortgage lender.
Bounce back. Right.
I woke up in beast mode with my girl that's...
How does Pods help remove the stress from moving? We deliver a container. You fill it up with all the things that need a home while you move yours. Take all the time you need, then just call us. We'll pick up your locked container and drive it to your new home. Pods.
Looks like you're not sleeping well.
Yeah. How did you know? Hey, Megan!
What? Hey! You're that guy.
The My Pillow guy. That's right, and I'm here to help you get the best sleep of your lives. Oh, you have a down pillow. Here's the problem with down pillows. You lay there, you feel comfortable, and guess what? It goes down, and you got one bent neck. So this pillow's no good, and I see you sleeping on memory foam.
Right.
Well, I'll show you what's wrong with that idea.
Okay.
Sleep's all about too high or too low, and I'm going to show you where your comfort level would be.
So, you know, that feels better.
Right, that's better, but I'm not going to sit and hold this all night. So every morning you're getting up like, you know, it's not good. Just like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. I had tried every pillow out there and none of them worked. That's why I invented My Pillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck aligned. My Pillow will hold its shape all night long, regardless of your sleep position, for the best sleep of your life.
It feels great to wake up in the morning and feel well rested. It's shocking to me that a pillow could make this big of a difference in my life.
I make all my pillows in my home state of Minnesota, and I back them with my 60-day money-back guarantee. My Pillow has a 10-year warranty, and it's machine washable and dryable. Sleep is one of the most important things to your health, and My Pillow is one of the most important things to your sleep.
Call or go to mypillow.com. Use the promo code and save over 50% with Mike's 4-pack. You'll get 2 My Pillow premiums and 2 Go Anywhere pillows. It's one of his best offers ever.
You're sleeping better.
Much better.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
This is Lobster Fest at Red Lobster, with exciting new dishes like dueling lobster tails and lobster truffle mac and cheese. Classics like Lobster Lover's Dream are here too. So enjoy these 10 lobster-licious dishes while you can, because Lobster Fest won't last.
Tears and anger now giving way to a call for action in the wake of the deadly school shooting in Florida. Students and activists planning protests as the gun debate heats up. And we're also getting new reaction from the White House at this hour. It's Monday. It's President's Day. Good Monday morning. Brand new hour here in America's Newsroom. I'm Bill Hemmer, and a big welcome to you.
Thank you very much.
How was the first hour, okay?
It went pretty well.
Got through it?
We split gone, yes.
Nicely done. Welcome, Alicia.
Thank you, Bill. I'm Alicia Acuna in for Sandra Smith. Organizers are mobilizing students and teachers to conduct sit-ins, walkouts, marches to protest gun violence in schools. Survivors of last week's shooting say it's time to make schools safer.
People are saying that it's not time to talk about gun control, and we can respect that. Here's a time, March 24th, in every single city. We are going to be marching together as students begging for our lives. This isn't about the GOP, this isn't about the Democrats, this is about the adults. We feel neglected, and at this point, you're either with us or against us.
Well, meanwhile, the White House planning a listening session that'll happen later this week as the students call for action. President Trump last night saying he supports changes to some background checks. So what's that story?
Griff Jenkins is live in Washington. What is the White House saying, Griff?
Good morning, guys. You know, we've seen this movie before, a push for gun control following tragic events, and it loses steam and nothing gets done in Washington. But maybe because of these students, things will be different this time. They rallied all weekend. They took to the airways in full force. And after just a few days of intense pressure, the White House announces the president will hold a listening session with students on Wednesday. And last night, the White House issuing a statement saying the president spoke to Senator Cornyn on Friday about this bipartisan bill to strengthen the FBI's database system, saying that while discussions are ongoing and revisions are being considered, the president is supportive of efforts to improve the federal background check system. Then Deputy Press Secretary Raj Shah elaborated a little more this morning.
Right now you have a bit of a patchwork in which local communities and states give information to one system. Our budget has an increase for 200 personnel to help staff that system. We want to make sure that the background check process is fully staffed, that all information gets in.
Very interesting. We'll see what Senator Cornyn has to say perhaps later today or this week.
And Griff, what the students are doing, this is unlike anything I've seen in the aftermath of a school shooting in this country. What's the likelihood that these students are going to succeed?
Good question, but it would be a big deal if it did, and the rallies continue tonight. The real test is whether the momentum lasts through next month's March and all the way to the midterms as they take this message to state capitals in D.C., targeting elected officials and special interest groups.
Our elected officials need to get together, overcome their political differences, and get some things done, because they need to save the future of our country. And the future of our country are those children that are currently dying because politicians refuse to take action and continue to take money from these special interest groups.
No, the NRA has not commented since the shooting, but it's also important to remember, Alicia, that President Trump has been supportive of gun control measures in the past. We talked about it on the campaign trail. Maybe, just maybe, this time things will be different. We'll see.
We will have to see. Griff Jenkins in Washington. Thanks, Griff.
Questions for the FBI, too, right now. Feeling the heat over the massacre in Florida, failing to investigate warnings that Cruz had guns and wanted to kill. Stephen Hayes, editor-in-chief, Weekly Standard, Fox News contributor. Steve, good morning to you. We'll get to the Russia matter in a moment here, but there are two incidents that we know of for the FBI. Well, when an American citizen calls the FBI, I mean, that is quite a step. I mean, you usually think about local police or even the superintendent or the principal. In addition, police were called to his house 20 times. Who knows what the school knew or anyone else in that community, but I mean, it really stuns you. And I think it leaves you asking the question, what can we do when something is so obviously disturbed in society?
Well, this really is a sort of a wake-up call. I mean, this was a kid who seemed to be holding a red flag himself and was waving it at every possible minute. You have this slogan, if you see something, say something. And in this case, many people did say something. But then it's up to the authorities to actually act on what they've been told, whether you're talking about the FBI and federal law enforcement, whether you're talking about local law enforcement, the schools, and others. And obviously, in this case, this was somebody who just didn't get the attention that he needed early on that might have prevented something like this.
Does Christopher Wray survive this at the FBI? If he does, I imagine there's a hearing in Congress that it's got his name all over it.
Yeah, I think he should be asked hard questions about what the field offices in Florida did or did not do in this case, and have to answer those questions before Congress and in front of the public. That said, this is pretty distant from him. He wasn't in office when those calls came in. He'll have to explain the processes and procedures.
Fair point.
But I think it's hard to lay this on him.
Fair point there. Okay, now let's talk about Russia. Weekly Standard editorial. The closing paragraph goes like this on screen. A real Trump rally regularly attracted 15,000 Floridians. A fake Russian organized Trump rally attracted 15. If the rest of their efforts were similarly impotent, the red troll army starts to look not so much ominous, but humorous. It's hard to credit that particular Ruski-funded endeavor with having any impact at all, let alone swinging an election. The Ruskies. What's your take,
we had our Eric Felton take a look at the indictments and sort of dig beyond what was the first set of headlines that came out over the last few days. And he looked at one aspect of what the Russians were trying to do, which was get people out on the streets, engaged in political activities, actual campaign-style events. And what he found was that it just didn't work. And he looked in particular on August 20th at a time when the Russians apparently tried to organize these kinds of rallies and campaigns, and in effect nobody showed up. Very few people showed up, and what Eric did was contrast that with the broader Trump rallies, where every time Donald Trump would show up in Florida, he would attract these massive crowds. So on that narrow slice, it doesn't appear that the Russians were very effective.
Adam Schiff's not going to let go of this. You don't think so, right? I mean, this.
No.
He's been on it for more than a year. He said this on CNN on Sunday. Just watch here.
This is a president who claims vindication anytime someone sneezes. The Trump campaign, and indeed candidate Trump himself, was very witting of what was going on. Indeed, the whole country was.
Let's wait and see what we hear from him next. The president tweeted this. Finally, little Adam Schiff, he says, the leaking monster of no control is now blaming, go ahead and put it up, guys, is now blaming the Obama administration for Russian meddling in the 2016 election. He's finally right about something. Obama was president, knew of the threat and did nothing. Thank you, Adam. John Sununu said 20 minutes ago that he expects the turn in this story to go toward Clapper and Brennan and President Obama. Do you see it that way as to what they did or knew at the time?
Well, I mean, you still have James Clapper out today saying that he thinks another shoe is going to drop. If he has this information, he ought to let us know what it is. He's certainly not been shy about talking about it in public over the past year. Look, Adam Schiff there in that soundbite that you played was conflating two things. Of course, the Trump campaign was witting in the sense of encouraging, President Trump himself, encouraging these leaks, encouraging the hacks of Hillary Clinton's campaign, asking the Russians to make this stuff public. He was doing that. He held press conferences to do that right after the Republican National Convention. At the same time, that's not what this indictment is about. This indictment is about specific things. It's about the trolling, it's about the social media presence, and it's about organizing these activities. And I think on this narrow slice, as I say, this is not the collusion that people like Adam Schiff were talking about from the beginning. It's early. We'll learn more. If anything that we've learned about Robert Mueller's investigation is that he's running a very tight ship. We haven't heard leaks about these things before they happen. Perhaps he's got a lot more. Perhaps he's got more about the kind of hacking that Adam Schiff was referring to there.
I thought the key word on Friday from Rosenstein was unwitting.
Correct.
Unwitting Americans. Do you agree on that?
I do. Look, on those two subjects, that was the key word. That doesn't mean that he doesn't have more, that he's not investigating, that he won't learn more. But these 37 pages, these indictments of 13 Russians, that was the key word. And on these two subjects, I just think it's not as big as people had suspected it might be.
Okay, last point here, last tweet here on meddling on screen. I never said Russia did not meddle in the election, writes the president. I said it may be Russia or China, another country or group, or it may be a 400-pound genius sitting in bed and playing with his computer. Remember that line from the first debate. The Russian hoax was that the Trump campaign colluded with Russia. It never did. Last comment on all this, Steve.
Yeah, I don't agree with the president there. I think he's said and implied several times that this whole thing was a hoax, not just the collusion narrative, but the whole thing was a hoax. You remember when he talked to Vladimir Putin and Putin said, "I didn't do it," and the president then conveyed those words to the American public, saying he said that he didn't believe it. He said very strongly that he didn't do this. I think the president has left the impression repeatedly that Russian meddling itself was a hoax, and it wasn't a hoax. There was Russian meddling. We'll learn how great and how significant an impact it had.
The logic is the reason why he hasn't called for an investigation is that he doesn't want to impugn the election of last year.
I think that's right. I think that's exactly what he's doing. Having said that, Russian meddling is a real thing. We'll learn more about what was involved here, but we need to learn from 2016 to take cautionary steps about 2018 and 2020.
Appreciate the analysis. Thank you, Steve. Stephen Hayes there in Washington. Thank you.
Fox News alert, ISIS claiming responsibility for a deadly church shooting. The scene unfolding at a Russian Orthodox church in a predominantly Muslim region. Russian news sources say a local man in his 20s fired at churchgoers yesterday as they were leaving afternoon service. 5 women were killed. The gunman was shot and killed at the scene by police. His wife has been detained for questioning.
Right about 10 minutes past the hour now. Meanwhile, a manhunt underway after a masked gunman shooting 4 people outside of a restaurant in Texas. What we're learning about the suspect today. Plus, there's this.
This is an opportunity for the American people, maybe our last real opportunity to create an immigration system that's lawful, that ends the lawlessness, the illegality, and serves the national interest.
Dreamers facing an urgent deadline after the Senate fails to act on immigration. Can they get a compromise done? Our panel debates.
May 5th, or March 5th, rather, is the deadline. Israel's prime minister feeling the heat as more Israeli officials arrested on charges of corruption. What Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is saying about that this morning.
In life, you have to adapt to your environment. That's why Jaguar has developed a unique, instinctive all-wheel drive system. It constantly monitors the road surface and driver inputs hundreds of times every second. Perfect dynamics, outstanding performance all year round. Jaguar all-wheel drive.
Are you hiring great people?
I get more talented people through the door through Indeed than any other job search that I use.
Indeed delivers 6 times more hires than any other job site. Post a job in minutes, and Indeed will help you zero in on just the right candidates. Plus, there are no upfront costs or long-term contracts.
Nothing has ever been this easy, this simple, and this effective.
Right now, start your first job posting with free premium placement. Search for greatness. Indeed, the world's #1 job site.
You have a vision. It's behind everything you do. Even when you least expect it, it comes through. You know what you want, and we can help make it real. You need choices? We've got all kinds, including special finishes and papers. And they're all absolutely guaranteed. Because you have a vision, and we have your card. 500 start at just $9.99 when you enter BC500 at Vistaprint.com.
Fast-acting ZzzQuil liquid caps help you fall asleep fast. Like, stop staring at the clock fast. Like, stop worrying about your boss fast. Like, wow, you're already asleep fast. When life keeps you up, ZzzQuil helps you fall asleep in as little as 20 minutes.
You guys don't happen to know a good handyman, do you?
Maybe.
Outstanding. Could you possibly do a background check on them?
Also, get a bunch of quotes.
And book an appointment for, say, Tuesday?
You can't expect your neighbors to do everything HomeAdvisor can. So to find and book a top-rated home pro for free, just ask HomeAdvisor.
CoQ10 is the #1 cardiologist-recommended supplement for heart health. Cunol, with 3 times better absorption than regular CoQ10, has the #1 cardiologist-recommended form of CoQ10. Cunol, the better CoQ10.
Let's take a look at some numbers. 4 out of 5 people who have a stroke, their first symptom is a stroke. 80% of all strokes and heart disease, preventable. And $149 is all it takes to get screened and help take control of your health. We're Lifeline Screening. And if you're over 50, call this number to schedule an appointment for 5 painless screenings that go beyond regular checkups. We use ultrasound technology to literally look inside your arteries for plaque, which builds up as you age and increases your risk for stroke and cardiovascular disease. And by getting them through this package, you're saving over 50%. So call today and consider these numbers. For just $149, you'll receive 5 screenings that could reveal what your body isn't telling you.
And I'm going to tell you that's the best $150 I've ever spent in my life.
Lifeline Screening, the power of prevention. Call now to learn more.
Identity thieves know if your email address is on the dark web. Do you? Find out with Experian. Go to Experian.com/scan for your one-time dark web scan. It's completely free, so visit Experian.com/scan today.
15 past the hour, 4 people injured, including a 6-year-old boy, when a masked gunman opened fire outside of a steakhouse in Texas yesterday. The suspect's still at large. Police believe they do not believe it's a random shooting. The victims are all from one family. 2 of them listed now in critical condition.
And the president's absolutely committed. Our whole administration is to work with Republicans in the House and the Senate, to work with Democrats in the House and the Senate, and find a way to build this wall and to solve the DACA problem and reform our immigration system.
Vice President Mike Pence speaking about immigration reform while touring the Rio Grande Valley sector of the southern border. This comes as a battle over border security and DACA stalled in the Senate last week, which threatens to complicate a looming fiscal year spending bill. Our panel now, Katie Pavlich is an editor for townhall.com and Fox News contributor. Marjorie Clifton is a former Obama campaign consultant and principal at Clifton Consulting. Thank you both for joining us here today.
Good morning.
Good morning. And before we get started, I want to play a portion of an interview Rush Limbaugh gave to Chris Wallace this weekend. He brings up an idea, and I'd like to get both your take on this. Listen here.
I would be willing right here to support an effort to grant permanent citizenship to whatever number of illegal immigrants there are in the country tomorrow. If you will make as part of the deal, they can't vote for 15 to 25 years. And if they will agree to that, then I'll grant them amnesty.
Katie, that makes sense to you?
Well, Rush Limbaugh does have a point, but that's not a serious proposal that is on the table legislatively. Look, Democrats are never going to allow a Republican president to claim victory on amnesty because it threatens their liberal voting base. They believe that the Hispanic vote is theirs for the taking, and if they allow Republicans to dig in and offer that community and some wins on the illegal immigration front and the amnesty front, that definitely pulls away from their political perspective. But I just want to say, in terms of this DACA DACA debate. We've gone from trying to fix DACA to overall now doing comprehensive immigration reform, and we're learning again that is more complicated than everyone has let on. And from the White House's perspective, they've already put their compromises on the table, and it's time for the House to do their job.
And Marjorie, I just want to get your take on what you heard Mr. Limbaugh say.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Republicans feel like they are truly doing right by the people that they're serving, they shouldn't be afraid of people voting. So I think his statement speaks highly of how they're treating the immigrant population and the fear that they would vote against them because they've been treated improperly.
And the illegal immigrant population. I think it's funny how we keep mixing those terms.
Well, actually, what they're talking about are people that would be lawfully in the country because
they're
of the
illegal
path
now.
to citizenship.
They're not legal.
But if they were in the country and in the terms they're talking about, they would be legal. So that's what we're talking about.
And Democrats won't allow it because they want the votes for their party, so it's also political for them.
Well, let me bring up this tweet that was put up by Senator Charles Schumer. Can we have that? Yes. One problem, even if Democrats would take that deal, General Kelly wouldn't.
I don't think Americans would take that deal. Look, the Americans for a very long time, for decades and decades, are been fed up with the illegal immigration system and the way that it prioritizes those who come into the country, breaking the laws of the United States, and then not prioritizing people who come here legally. This is about ending the illegal immigration problem and getting rid of the magnets that allow people to continue to come here. And that's where Republicans are drawing the line by saying, look, we've been here before, we've offered amnesty and return for border security. We haven't gotten it, and we're not going to go there again.
Okay, I only have about a minute left. Congress cannot seem to get out of its own way, right? The Democrats shut down the government for 3 days in January over immigration. Republican senators didn't get anywhere last week. Immigration reform fails again and again. The president has made it clear he will not sign anything into law that does not end chain migration and the visa lottery system. That said, Congress is going to try again, and both sides acknowledging immigration will likely be added to the omnibus spending bill. What are the chances? And Marjorie, let's start with you.
Well, we've got 14 members of the Senate who are actually Republican members of the Senate that have dissented on the last go-round of the bill. I think the challenge we've got is an environment that is not a positive one for compromise on either party. We have, as evidenced by my counterpart here, a lot of fear and a lack of understanding of what immigration is really about.
I'm from a border state.
Lawful.
I think I understand.
So am I. I'm in
fine.
Texas.
Right.
And
so that's not accused.
I want to give you a chance to jump in there real quick.
It's a lot about, but it is a lot about fear.
Absolutely
and this is not about demonizing.
It's about embracing the law and allowing legal immigrants to be prioritized above those who come here illegally. And it's about enforcing the law and making sure that people don't come here in the future to break our laws. So don't accuse me of having feer over this when I just want people to follow the law like everybody else who comes here legally.
Yeah,
ladies,
so there's a lot of emotion around
it. We got to end it there. We'll continue this another time. Marjorie Clifton, Katie Pavlich, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, 20 minutes past the hour. The U.S. pressure campaign against North Korea continues as Rex Tillerson reveals more about that campaign.
The threat to the American people by a regime like this is not acceptable. And the president is meeting his responsibilities as commander-in-chief of asking our military and Secretary Mattis at the Defense Department to ensure we are prepared for anything.
Well, will there be a face-to-face meeting with Kim Jong-un and what he says about the potential for conflict with that rogue regime? Coming up.
Plus, the Russian indictments raising questions about over what to do about the next U.S. election. Reaction next.
I've known all along that Russia tried to subvert our 2016 election, and they're going to do the same thing in 2020 and every election thereafter, unless and until we do what the indictment said, which is we view this as America being the victim.
This is where you're wide awake, but it feels like a dream, where you can roam endlessly, walk on water, or under it, where life expresses itself as an endless flow of energy, where there's only one question: are you ready? Atlantis, Bahamas at heart.
Book by February 28th for the best rates at 1-800-ATLANTIS or AtlantisBahamas.com.
I lost 50 pounds on Jenny Craig, and you can too.
Introducing Rapid Results by Jenny Craig. Lose up to 16 pounds in just 4 weeks.
pasta, pizza, burgers. You get to eat really good food 6 times a day, and you don't even have to cook. The program includes a personal weight loss expert who understands men. None of that group meeting stuff.
This is the best program for a busy guy.
Now lose 16 pounds for $16 plus the cost of food, and get $100 in free food. Hurry, this offer won't last long.
If you are considering silver for your savings and retirement accounts, here is an amazing offer from Lear Capital. Now you can receive $200, $500, up to $2,000 worth of these all-new silver Snowy Owl coins free with a qualifying purchase. The Snowy Owl is made from the finest silver of any coin in the world. Its popular 1.5-ounce size makes it both valuable and affordable. And because it comes with a government guarantee, it's IRA eligible. With the price of silver so low, now is the perfect time to stop considering silver and own it. Call Lear Capital at 1-800-769-8500 and see how you can earn up to $2,000 worth of silver Snowy Owl coins free with a qualifying purchase. Plus, the first 50 callers receive this exclusive report, Sky High Silver. See what's driving demand and why it could send silver prices soaring. Call 1-800-769-8500. 1-800-769-8500.
The investigation, the charges, the bombshell. The Mueller indictment sent shockwaves through D.C. Now, Tucker breaks down all the fallout, and you don't want to miss it tonight.
I'm all about my bed.
This mattress is dangerously comfortable.
When I get in, I literally say, ah.
America loves the Leesa mattress. We have more 5-star customer reviews than any other mattress of its kind.
This bed hugs my body.
I'm now a morning person.
Hello, bed of my dreams.
Discover how Leesa's innovative design provides an extraordinary sleep experience. Then place your order. We'll ship your Leesa mattress right to your door so you can enjoy a risk-free trial at home.
I love my Leesa.
Today is gonna be great.
Sleep on it for up to 100 nights and love it, or you'll get a full refund. Returns are free and easy. Order now and get $125 off, plus a free pillow worth $75.